All right, everybody, welcome back for repetitions and routine day number 39. We are repeating a core set day. So I have a couple pieces of equipment and then we'll get started. Remember that you can always go back to our first session that we did for this workout if you haven't made it yet and you're feeling a little bit lost as far as the lead up or the description or build up to the exercise. So this workout, the first time we did, would have been number 29. So if for any reason you want to go back and take it a little slower from there, you can. So I have a set of kettlebells that I'm going to use for an L sit as well as a kettlebell swing. You can always use dumbbells, and then I'll also give a quick refresher alternate on the floor that you can use those for. I have a 12-pound dumbbell that I'm going to be using for my seated rainbow and my halo. And then the balance row, we have an anchored band that you'll use for your balance. And if you don't have the band, you just use a dumbbell, kind of like you would for a single leg deadlift, and you'll just add in that balance row. All right, we are going to get warmed up by starting with a downward facing dog. So just walk your hands all the way forward. Push into the thumb and first finger. Drive your heels down to the ground. The wider that your heels are, the wider that your feet are, then the more space that your hamstrings can start out with. So feel free to sink those feet wide or narrow just based on how your hamstrings are feeling so far today. We'll take a couple deep breaths here. Slide the shoulder blades down. Contract in through the abdomen. Try to close your mouth and get the breath going through the back of your throat. And then when you feel ready, settle your feet and then let your hips shift to the right. And then the left. Hold the core still steady. Back to the right. And then back to the left. Settle in the middle again. We'll take 2 more deep breaths here. This is a great place to scan the body. You can make your down dog as active or passive as you would like. So the more that you engage in your back and suck in your armpits and hold the core, the more active that it will be. All right, and then bring your body forward so you can drop onto your knees. Hands come back a little bit, and we're going to go into our cat-cow. Inhale, open your chest. Slide your shoulder blades down. I like to build a lot of traction, so you're taking your hands and pulling back towards your knees without actually moving them. And then exhale and round. Feel that big opening in your upper back. Feels so good. And then again, inhale, open that chest, slide the shoulder blades down, elbows squeeze in toward one another, and then exhale and round. And then come to a neutral spine. So relax the tops of the feet onto the ground. Knees are going to be underneath your hips. Shoulders are going to be right over your hands. So we are going to start off with a transverse abdominis draw. And I want to do this because it helps really build awareness for what self-core flexion is. So from this position, you have a natural neutral spine. And all I want you to do is just tighten and tug and pull your rib cage in as tight as you can. Your pelvic floor will become involved automatically. You don't really even have to think about it too much. It's going to get grabbed and going. And you're just going to try to hold for as long as possible. You can't really take a deep breath of air, but we're building awareness and ability to self-flex the core. This is such a great exercise. You should probably do it. We should probably do it every single day. Just building that draw in of the transverse abdominis. Also, this is a huge part of toning the core, right? So I know a lot of us think, oh, I got to suck in my belly, but having a toned core and a strong core helps to contract and hold that flattened stomach all on its own. You don't have to actively suck it in all day long. We'll hold just a couple more breaths. Perfect. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and flip over and get started on our set. All right, so we start off with a 2-minute glute bridge, a 2-minute plank, and a 1-minute each side plank. All right, and then from there, we go into all of our counted moves that will do kind of our unconventional core build. All right, so here, hips on the ground, push your low back ends to tuck the pelvis, contract deep through the abdomen, and then drive your hips up and hold. Squeeze the knees toward one another. And I want you to find that position where the pelvis is neutral between the shoulders and the knees. Drive up through the glutes. So we want to hold the core that we just built and found from our TVA draw, that transverse abdominis draw. You're still going strong through your pelvic floor. Squeeze the knees toward one another to help build in through the glutes. So we're really here for the gluteus maximus. You're going to feel the hamstrings as well. But it's, again, up to you to get that big self-flexion. Shimmy those shoulder blades together. And then really continue to watch that you're not overarching the low back. So how high you get the hips is not your ultimate goal here. It's getting your hips to line evenly between the shoulders and the knees. So if we had a rod from our shoulders along our hips, along our knees, that would be pretty much flat straight across. We're 1 minute in. We have 1 minute to go. And then we're going to flip straight into our 2-minute plank. If you do not plank, I'm going to have you do another TVA draw. So you're going to go back to those hands and knees and tug and tighten through the core. Try to realize, though, why you maybe don't plank. Some of us, it's limitations and things that are going on in our neck and shoulders that we just cannot work around. Bone spurs or shoulder limitations, orthopedic issues. So those we do not need to worry about. Others, if it's just a lot of stress on our shoulders, maybe we need to talk about building more core, building more back, and eventually getting there. So even if you take it in 5 or 10-second segments, that's great. 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're going to flip it over, get your elbows set, and go straight into our 2-minute plank. So again, we want to try to find traction between elbows and toes. A plank position is not merely just for the front of the abdomen, but the entire trunk, torso, glutes, thighs. A lot of foundational flexion. And it's on you to get all those flexions. Find all the biggest contractions that you can build within your plank, each minute at a time. The more that you tuck your glutes, the more that you grab the glutes and flex in, then the more that you're going to hold support for that low back. It automatically gets the pelvis in place and shifts the work where it needs to be in the core. See if you can still find your pelvic floor. That is a huge part of the core. And then just hold steady. Find the work, push into the work. We have 30 seconds to go, and then we're going to flip to our side plank. Build the flexions. Push into the heat. We're building the core. Final 10 seconds. Hold strong. Okay, from here, we're going to be turning to the side. Ready and go. I will call 30 seconds. I know that holding for a minute side can be quite a long time. So I'll call our 30-second half if you would like to switch it up. If you would like, you can take that top arm, tuck it down into the low back, and push the chest forward even more. All right, there's our halfway point. So we're 30 seconds in on this side. Scan the body. Find those flexions. Enjoy the build. You have to use your thighs, your glutes. Of course, the obliques. Dig into the back to help support the shoulder. 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and then roll it over. Whew. All right. Set it up on that other side. If you would like, set your arm behind your low back. Open the chest. Keep that push through the hips. Line it up from your back through the hips all the way to the heels. All right, there's your halfway point. We have 30 seconds to go. Tug and tighten. Hold those flexions. Build the obliques, but also grab around the front of the belly. 10 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done, well done. Hinge back, reach your arms really far forward. Just give yourself a quick child's pose. All right, now we get to move on into our counted moves. We're going to start with a seated rainbow or a boat rainbow, otherwise known as. All right, so you're going to have your weight. Body weight is also fine. You don't have to hold a weight. Bring both legs up, flex your feet back. You're going to drop your weight down all the way up and over, and then to the other side. 10 each side. These aren't rushed. Nice, slow, and controlled. Remember, we're here for core, so stay focused through that abdomen flexion. Small little round in your upper back to help dig in, crunch into the front of the belly. We got 7, 8, 9. Get a little back work there too. And 10. All right. Coming up, we're going to get into our halo. So we're going to draw a halo around the head. I'm going to use my 12-pounder here. Set up your stance. So your weight is going around your head, but the goal is core. So again, you have to find your self-flexions. 5, feel lots of rotation in your shoulder blades. 8, you can kind of move a little through the mid-back. Reverse your direction. But you want to keep that super lifted chest. Get one elbow really high and then the other. Relax the neck. You shouldn't be feeling anything in the neck. 8, 9, and 10. Last time I went way heavier with those halos, and while feeling the core, a lot of it was in my shoulders, so I decided to back off it a little bit today. All right, we're in our L-sit. If you do not have something to balance on, 2 chairs, a box, 2 balls, 2 pillows, 2 kettlebells, don't worry about it. Just set yourself on the ground, okay? And you can just plant your hands, lift your legs from here, 10 each leg. I am going to try a true L-sit. So instead of working my legs up and down, you kind of pull your hips back, and then you try to lift up off the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whew. All right, and then I'm going to finish out with 5 more kicks. Again, super strong core. That's what we're going for here. Bracing through the back is definitely incorporating the core. 5 and 5. Actually, I might have miscounted, just in case. All right, perfect. Now we're going to do our balance row. So we're going to get that band. If you don't have the band, just use your weight. All right. So if I'm holding my band in my right hand, I'm going to keep my left leg on the ground. Hinge, try to get that flat, flat, flat back and pull. 10 each side. 1, like a little more tension. 3. So again, focus that core. 4, so much of the balance is in the core. 5, lengthen through the spine. 6, trying to drop that lifted hip. So my right hip, I'm trying to drop it down. 8, 9, you have to self-flex that core. And 10. Definitely feeling the leg there too. That's all good. All right, other side. Hinge. And then as you come up, pull. My left hand's holding the band or weight. And then your left leg is the one that's moving. 3. Slower you go, the more you have to work for this one. 4, so we're not rushing it. 5. Your glute working hard is good too. That's part of the core. 7. I'm wanting to level off even more. 8. Flexions through those back muscles. Keep it long and strong. Here's 10. 10. Perfect. All right. Set that down. I'm going to move my box for the next round. And my leg doesn't keep hitting it. All right, last one are kettlebell swings. If you do not kettlebell swing, you can totally deadlift. That is a big core exercise as well. So your bell, dumbbell, or kettlebell, just 10. Here we go. Remember, it's all about momentum. Toes straight ahead. 8. Lengthen your back. 10. Beautiful. All right. There's one set. We're going back to our boat rainbows. Bring those legs up. Hunker down through the belly. Drop. Lift all the way overhead. 4. 6. If you're holding the core in strong enough, it won't put pressure on your low back. If you need to set your feet down, set your feet down. Last one. You can always go into a crunch. You should not be putting pressure in your low back ever. Build the core. Get into the layers, right? Start deep and then build out. 3. See if I'm keeping my hips still. 6. Your body is a marble pillar. It can't move. It's just from the shoulder girdle through the shoulder joints, the elbows and hands. 9. 10. Let's reverse. Grounding through those legs. The core is what's holding everything from moving. You have to incorporate and find that core. Tighten in deeper, deeper, deeper. Remember those transverse draws. 8, 9, and 10. All right, we have our super fun L sit. Get everything set up. plant on your hands and then do your little leg march, or use your boxes. Got to get that balance. All right. Try a little lift. And then I'm going to do my leg march. Tighten in and tuck. 2. The little hunker here. You can't lift super high out of the chest, but you do still have to hold the rib cage lifted and strong. 3, 2, you have to work the core, and 1. Okay, doing great. Our balance row. Now I got my box out of the way. It's going to be even better this time. Okay, let's see. Left hand holds the weight or the anchor, your band. Right leg on the ground. Find that level point. 2, take your hand to the abdomen if you want. Make sure you're using the core. Find your own self check-in, palpations. Wake it up, make sure it's working. 4. Come on, tone that core, think about it. 7. As you pull the elbow and knee together, there's extra contraction through the transverse abdominis. Last one. All right, other side. Control, contract. 2. See if you can keep that long line of tension. 3. As you hinge forward in that lifted side, just like you do with a bird dog. 5. Point your back toe to the ground. 7. 8. Try not to get frustrated if you fall over. Just reset, find a spot to look at that's not moving. 10. Beautiful. Kettlebell swings. And then we're 2 sets in. Take a second, check in, butt, back, core. 5. Make sure you're hinging, not squatting. 10. Whew. Feeling good, feeling good. Here we go. Back down on the ground. Boat rainbows. Everything set. Tug and tighten. Not rushing. 2. Think about the core. So good to build the core. Keeps us healthy, strong, uninjured for everything else. Whether working out or working. Last one, arch up and over. Perfect. All right, halos. Get that stance. One elbow up, over, and around. Pack the back. 3, 4, 6, 7. Can you tighten in the rib cage anymore? and 10. Feel the flexion of the core, build in the upper back. These are also really fun to do with plates. If you have access to plates, like barbell plates, those can be nice to circle around. It really makes sure you get that big elbow roll, right? As opposed to this. We're not just circling above the head like the Tweety Bird stars swinging around, but we really want that halo around the forehead. Okay, bring on that L sit. Core, 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 lots of core. My L's getting very droopy, but I feel the core. 2. Grip in, grip in. Give me 1 more each side. All right, now we're going to get that balance lunge. Definitely the one that takes the time, but it's good. See how much contraction you can hold. I was definitely struggling a little bit more last time. Fatigue, or I'm not focusing as much. So I'm going to take it, set it in, get her done. Lifted chest. 7, 8. Try to drop that back hip to the ground. 9 and 10. Extend and grab. Feel it all. Don't just rush through and count 1 to 10. 3. 5. When I try to drop that hip, the activation of the core under the ribs, so much more noticeable. So figure that out for yourself as well. Ten. All right. Kettlebell swings. And then we're going to take our stretch. Lock it in, belly firm. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. No matter how heavy your bell is or isn't, thrust those hips and lock them into place. 8, 9, 10. Nice job. All right, stay here, hang over those legs a second. Definitely got our hamstrings from the balance row and the swings. Hinge those hips to the left and then the right. Just kind of slide them over. Perfect. Okay, take a nice low yogi squat. Whatever that feels or however wide that is for you. Sit it deep. Get your heels on the ground. If that means that your butt's a little higher, you're here, that's okay. We want to slowly get down to the ground. I really started working on this probably 4 or 5 years ago. I listened to a podcast that talked about how amazing low squatting was, how much a part of the human makeup it is. Our ancestors and human beings that paved the way for us, sat this way a lot, and it helps with many, many, many different things. So make sure that you're incorporating low sits, low squats into your regimen. All right, go ahead and take a seat. We're going to do a Z sit. So fold your left foot in and your right foot back. You're going to plant your left hand on the ground. So whatever leg is folded in, that's the hand you plant. Open your other arm back and behind. Get a big lift through the chest, pull through the pec and the shoulder. Exhale, draw that arm under like somebody's pulling behind you. Relax through the hips. Keep pulling, pulling, reaching. And then we'll do the other side. Right foot in, left leg out. Plant your right hand, reach that arm up and behind. Inhale, exhale, reach it under. Oh, there's a back pop. I love it. Every exhale, get a little more twist. Okay, bring it back to center. Quick little butterfly stretch. Wrap your hands around your toes and then lift the chest really tall. That may be your stretch. Otherwise, pull forward. Take 2 deep breaths. A little bit of unconventional core. Super fun day. Builds really nice heat. Still some sweat, but the intensity isn't quite so gnarly. It makes it a little fun. All right, remember to hold on to that core. Stand tall. Pull everything held together throughout your day. And I'll see you tomorrow.